A contractor's journey to self-mastery requires discipline, integrity, and respect. Welcome to Hammer and Grind.
Welcome to Hammer and Grind, the podcast built for contractors, real contractors, true stories, real solutions. My name is Brad Hebner, and I will guide you on your journey to mastery of your construction business. You can find Hammer and Grind on all the social media platforms. Just search for Hammer and Grind Podcast. Now, if you're looking for more help, you can check out our free Facebook group called the Contractor Profit Group. I do free trainings in there, and it's a great community to be a part of. Now, if you're serious about making more money, saving more time, and creating a business that supports your lifestyle, check out my paid coaching group called the Profit Club. I've put together a proven system for creating a winning business. Now, listen, I'm so confident that you will succeed in my program. I'm now offering a 10x ROI guarantee. That means if you don't make at least a 10x return on your investment within a 12-month period, I will refund you the full amount. You can find out more information about the Profit Club at hammerandgrind.com/the Profit Club. All right. On this podcast episode, we got a special guest today, Myles Would. Thanks for being on the group, not the group, but the actual interview today, Myles.
Thanks, Brad. Appreciate it, man.
Awesome. So Myles is a online fitness coach for the blue collar CEOs, and he has over 5+ years in fitness industry. He is passionate about helping men get in the best shape of their lives so they can be the best leaders for their businesses and families. Myles, I'm excited to have you on this podcast because we've been trying to do this for several months now. Yeah. I guess we just kind of slipped through each other's schedule and all that. But I'm stoked to have you on the podcast today because this is an important topic. It gets overlooked a lot, but it has a huge impact in people's lives. So I'm excited to dig deeper into this topic and talk about it. So let's start with just kind of the background. Like, who is Myles? Where'd you come from? Why do you do this? All that stuff.
Yeah, it's a great question. And, I really appreciate us connecting. I think it was, a mutual client that we had. And, we went live in your Profit Club group and kind of just sparked that relationship from there. And I guess a little bit about me, I actually come from a blue collar background. So I used to work in landscaping. I think it was about 4 or 5 years as a laborer, lead hand. So not as the business owner itself, but definitely exposed within that world of, just seeing the hard work that entails, the physically hard demanding work, especially of landscaping in particularly, and just the quality of the people's health in that world. As I went through those years, get to connect with other business owners and all that kind of stuff. And it really is extremely important to have that kind of shape in that specific world of the blue collar world, whether you're in the office, in the field, or maybe doing both 50-50. So I was doing landscaping and a little bit of PT on the side during the summers, part-time during the summers and then full-time during the winters at the local university, training college kids all the way up to seniors from, anywhere from 18 to 72 years old and anyone in between. And that's kind of where I got grounded in my fitness journey, really, being able to help that kind of world. And then up here in Canada, the gyms were closed for quite a bit longer compared to everywhere else in the world. So I transitioned everything online. And it took me a while to really figure out who I wanted to help. But I put together the fitness and my blue collar background to really be able to niche down to zero in on the guys in the blue collar industry, especially the CEOs. And, we've got mutual clients who are in both of our academies, both of our groups. And it's really been great to see how, we've kind of been able to overlap and help both of those guys, not only on your end, improving their business, having systems in place, but also on my end, improving their health. So they can optimize and have, ultimately a better physique, more confidence in themselves to be able to show up and ultimately have more energy to put into their business and more energy for their family as well.
Yeah, we're gonna dive into the energy part of it here. Speaking of being healthy, allergies got me bad this morning. I'm over here coughing coughing a lung up while you're talking. So you did landscaping. You said 4 to 5 years as a laborer. Were you working out while you were working landscaping? I mean, were you lifting weights or?
Yeah. So especially those first couple of years with the first company that I worked for, I was able to really get in there first thing in the morning, wake up at 5, go be in the gym for 30, 45 minutes, just kind of bang out some weights, probably 3-4 times a week. And then the second company that I worked for was a little bit more tricky, a little bit longer hours. So things kind of got pushed to the weekend a little bit more. I had to be at the shop for 6, and some days we wouldn't get home till 8, 9 o'clock. So a little bit less time for the workout end of things. So in that case, it really just transitioned to rain days and weekends in that sense.
Well, that's something I actually wanted to get into with scheduling, like people that have kind of sporadic scheduling or, work long hours or long days. Mm-hmm. Before I get that, I don't know if you noticed, I got my 1 gallon jug of water here, Myles, with my notifications. So if you're watching the video on YouTube, you'll see that. You might see me take a couple swigs.
Hell yeah.
So hopefully you're proud of me because I got my gallon jug here.
Absolutely. Got my jug here.
By the way, that is a good hack. Like for me, I just bought this off Amazon, but it has, and I haven't filled it up this morning because obviously I haven't drank this much water by 10 o'clock in the morning when we're recording this, but it has the times on there, which is nice to kind of keep you on track with drinking your water. So that's a little hack in and of itself for, and this actually worked. I mean, I always drink water all the time, but I just got this maybe 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah.
And it really helped me make sure I'm drinking enough water.
Yeah. Yeah. It really makes a huge difference. You might find you go to the bathroom a little bit more, but your energy goes up. That's for sure.
Yeah, I have like a 3-year-old bladder, so I go to the bathroom like 15 times a day. So when you drink like 3 cups of coffee and then you chase it with water, like you're guaranteed to go to the bathroom multiple times a day.
Yeah, no doubt.
So let's get into what I was saying with the scheduling. I think most people would agree that, working out is important, whether it's lifting weights or exercising, some type of movement, right, is important to stay healthy. What kind of suggestions do you have for someone who's listening to this who, like you were saying, your second job, maybe they work 12 hours a day during the summer, or maybe they start early in the morning, or maybe they have a sporadic schedule, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they take their kids to school in the morning and, blah, blah, blah. They don't have like a schedule where they can go to the gym every morning at 5 a.m. and do that. Like, how do you create a schedule around a sporadic schedule?
Yeah. And that's the the $1 million question right there. And really the first step, like if you are the CEO of the business owner, you do have a little bit more control over your time compared to the laborers who are kind of being told, show up here on the job site for this time, and you don't leave until the job's done, or a checkpoint in the job for whatever. So for you as a business owner, it really involves taking time, whether it's, on a Saturday or Sunday, mapping out your week ahead of time, being proactive, thinking ahead with as much predictability as possible. Some things, you just can't predict, right? Maybe materials are going to be on the back order. Maybe, relying on distributors. Maybe they don't deliver stuff as quickly as they should have, as they said they would, especially if you're working with stones and wood and all that kind of stuff. So those kind of stuff, we just can't predict. So we really got to map out what we can control. And that's our schedule, our time, how long we think the job is going to take, how many hours we want to work during the day. And once we've got our work schedule mapped out, we can carve our workout schedule from there, fitting in time. And, let's say, fires are going to happen in the business. Days can, unintentionally get a little bit longer. Just move your workout to the next day. Just get it done the next day when you got a little bit more time.
And I know that this is like your specialty because you work with blue collar individuals. Is there like minimum workouts that one should do, like 3 times a week, so many hours a week, so many hours a day? Like, is there like, for those that are really, really busy and they're like, I just can't go to the gym for an hour each day.
Yeah.
It's not possible. Are there is there kind of a minimum requirement of what someone should do to kind of stay healthy?
Yeah. Two workouts a week is the minimum. really is the minimum. And however you want to break that down, maybe you want to do full body one day. Maybe you take a couple days of rest. If, work gets crazy, life gets hectic, then you do another full body. You do that twice a week.
Okay.
Or you can do an upper lower split. Day one, you just hit, push and pull everything from chest, shoulders, triceps to everything in your back muscles, back and biceps. You do that all in one day. Again, you take another couple days rest, and then you do lower body, everything below the hips. So it really depends on how you want to structure it.
So two minimum, basically 2 workouts a week. Would that be like a Tuesday, Thursday, or Monday, Friday? Does it matter how many days in between? Does that matter at all? Or
yeah, I wouldn't go no more than 2 days of rest.
Okay.
Wouldn't go no more than 2 days of rest.
I was doing some research recently at some, I was just downloading some basic workout plans. Mm-hmm. Really not to really like create a workout plan, but just to see what types of workouts that they're recommending. And there was one that was like, I forget the name of it. It was like the 5-day bro workout.
Okay.
Are you familiar with that?
Oh, probably. It's probably like a push-pull legs or something.
I don't even remember. I didn't get too deep into it. I just saw one. It was like the 5-day bro workout. I thought that's interesting. Is it better if you do like 5 days? Is it better if you do like smaller workouts? You know what I mean? Because when you have more days per week, you can isolate more muscles, right? Like you're not doing full body or all upper, all lower. Is that better to do like multiple days a week, or like if someone has unlimited time available, what's going to be a better type of workout?
Mm-hmm. It's a great question, and it's not so much the volume per week, and that does have an effect in terms of actually building muscle, but it's really the intensity and then the recovery to match that, right? So we can go train 7 days a week and burn ourselves out by week 4 and not build any muscle because we don't have the recovery to match it, right? So in the gym, we're doing like micro tears with our muscle, and then it's with the proper eating, sleep, hydration that we actually build that muscle to repair those damages. So with 5 days a week, if you want to do 5 days a week, probably push-pull legs would be the best option for someone like that. So whatever that would look like, maybe Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, I don't know, Friday, Saturday, something like that. There'd have to be some kind of block. And then we just repeat push-pull legs. So push-pull legs, push-pull.
What does that mean, push-pull legs?
So kind of, the pushing muscles, your chest, shoulders, triceps.
Oh, okay.
Pull,
I got you.
Your back and biceps, and then your legs, everything kind of below the hips.
Makes sense. Okay.
That's kind of like the typical bro workout. And at least that way you're getting a little bit more volume at the tail end of that week because you're repeating your push and your pull. And then you can kind of, how do I word this, kind of push it one day ahead. So you would start your Monday on legs again after that first week.
Okay. So kind of rotate the days that you actually work out that muscle group.
Yeah, exactly. So it kind of plays around with the volume, but you're still getting those 5 days a weekend with the same program.
In regards to like working, like lifting weights, is it like 12 weeks? Is that kind of like the standard? You do an exercise for 12 weeks and then you switch up the exercise to kind of, because your muscles get used to it. Is that a thing, or did I make that up?
No, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. And for a lot of people, they might not even need to swap out the exercise entirely. We can just change the grip, and that'll create a new stimulus to change things up. Because you're right. You're absolutely right. Your brain and your body does get used to doing the same exercises over and over again. And sometimes we just need to change the grip. We can go from a flat, or even change the exercise entirely, going from a flat bench press to an incline. Maybe we're doing a wide grip pull down to a narrow. Same exercise, just a different grip. Maybe we're doing, normal grip bench press and we do a close grip. So things like that, just to change things up. But really, definitely those 8, 12, sometimes even 16 weeks on the upper end, we don't really need to change anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good stuff. What about time of the day? Like I've heard, don't exercise before you go to bed. does that matter? What if the only time you can exercise is in the evening? After kids go to bed, you have an hour or so of free time, and that's when you can are there optimal times of the day to work out versus not work out?
Yeah, one is scheduling, right? What you can swing most for you. And, I'm biased more towards morning workouts personally, just because I can get out of bed, have a little breakfast, hit the gym, and sets the tone for the rest of the day. Now, if someone's working out in the evening, we definitely want to make sure, and this is kind of a tricky one because you're elevating your heart rate and you've got to eat something after to actually, promote that muscle growth. You don't want to go to bed on an empty stomach, right? So we want to have some kind of, protein, carbs after our workout to actually replenish our muscles. So that's a tricky one before evening. And it can disturb sleep, having that elevated heart rate, having some kind of food. So if someone's really able to swing it in the morning, it's a lot better. But, if in the evening, right before bed is really the only time, they're more than welcome to try that as long as it doesn't take away from their sleep. So it's really, a nuanced question down to the individual, right? Because if it starts taking away from their sleep, maybe we can find some way to schedule out something better for that.
What about like midday, like lunch?
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, midday is fine. And a lot of people, they might notice they perform better during their midday workouts compared to morning, just because they've got a lot more food in their system and they can use that as energy towards their workouts.
So would you recommend eating before working out at lunch or working out and then eating afterwards?
I recommend eating before your workout, having some kind of protein, whether it's, if you're working out in the morning, like I'll just give you an example of what I eat in the morning. I've got my eggs, a little bit of egg whites, Greek yogurt, some fruits, some fiber, like all bran buns and all that kind of stuff. That's my typical breakfast. And what that does, it's the protein and carbs to give you that fuel going into the workout. I've trained fasted when I was younger. And one way we can really think about this is your carbs are almost like a fuel tank. And your body uses up that fuel tank as the day goes along. And if we're going into our workouts kind of with like an empty fuel tank, we're going to be running on fumes. And it won't happen right away. If you've done your fasted workouts, once in a while, it won't be the end of the world. But for about 4 to 8 weeks, I tried fasted morning workouts and it was fine in the beginning. But as the weeks went on, I just felt like my energy tank was out, just running on fumes for the most part. So swapped it out.
So when you say fasted workouts for us ignorant people, what does that mean exactly?
Well, you're just not eating anything before your workouts, and you haven't had your first meal of the day to break your fast.
So if you work out in the mornings, which is typically when I try to work out, if I work out, keyword if.
Yeah.
But if I work out, I should be eating breakfast before working out then. Because when I do that, I actually work out. And when I say work out, really all I've ever done is like walk on the treadmill or some type of cardio stuff, not actually lifting weights.
Yeah.
I should be eating breakfast and then working out.
Yeah, that's a pretty good strategy to follow.
Okay. Is there like a time frame after you eat breakfast? Like you eat then wait 30 minutes and go, or does it matter?
Personally, I don't find it matters. My commute, personally, it's probably about 15, maybe 20 minutes if there's traffic to the gym. That's kind of like my digestion. Okay. And then, I'm ready to rock from there.
Okay. Well, I live 2 miles from the gym.
Yeah.
So I'd have like a 5-minute I can't even talk this morning, Myles. Commute. I have like a 5-minute commute to the gym. Yeah. So I wouldn't have much time. I'd be doing bench presses and throwing up at the same time.
Yeah. And that's where it comes from, eating foods that don't make you sick and feel like too full, right? Personally,
right.
The first food that comes to my mind is like oatmeal, right? That sits heavy in your stomach, right? It sits heavy in your stomach, takes quite amount of time to digest. So really having those kind of foods that digest well for you, make you feel light physically and mentally, it's not going to make you want to throw up in the gym.
This is a little off topic, but I saw something the other day that said that oatmeal was never designed for humans to eat. Is that true or what?
I'm not sure. That's the first time I hear about it. I'll really have to look into that. Yeah.
It was somebody selling something. I don't know what it was, but he was saying that oatmeal was never really designed to be consumed. It was designed for animals to eat, not for humans. And so I just was kind of curious on that.
What was he selling?
Topic.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was. It may have been some kind of training or workout thing or nutrition thing.
Sure.
So speaking of nutrition, let's dive into that a little bit, because you help contractors work out a nutrition plan. Mm-hmm. You and I have had this conversation before. I'm a very picky eater, Myles. I don't like eating anything that's good for me.
Nope.
Right. So yours is a little bit different than what I've seen other people in terms of nutrition. What you told me, and you can explain or correct me if I'm wrong, but you said really for breakfast, it's not as big a deal. Like, I mean, other than eating things that's not going to weigh on your stomach, but the big thing for you was really lunch, right? As far as what you eat, and then dinner can be kind of more normal stuff. So why don't give us a little bit of a breakdown of like what a healthy plan looks like, as far as eating goes.
Yeah. I mean, for a lot of the guys, it's, again, having those, protein, carbs first thing in the morning. And some guys do fasting too, right? Some guys swing fasting. If it really, I find fasting more of a personality based thing, because a lot of people, if they don't eat, their hunger cravings go up, and then they just end up overeating at lunch and dinner. So for a lot of people, if it doesn't suit their personality, having those morning breakfasts so they don't overeat later in the day can make a huge difference. So for me, number one, it's really, whether we have breakfast or don't, it's personality based on the client. And then number two, for lunches, I really get the guys to do some meal prep. Sunday, spend an hour or two, make a big batch of food for your lunches for the week, so that you don't go to the fast food, so you don't get involved with the gas station snacks, all that kind of stuff. Because I personally, I've lived that lifestyle too. You don't have a lunch with you, especially for guys who are working residential in the field. Some days in the field, maybe some days in the office. If you don't have a lunch, there's Popeyes around the corner, there's McDonald's, there's Wendy's, Burger King, all that kind of stuff. And, you're not going to go hungry for the rest of the day because you're going to be in a bad mood. So what happens? We go for fast food to go for the gas station snacks, and then we feel like shit by 2, 3 p.m. So making a big batch, spending 1 to 2 hours on Sunday, having some healthy protein, whether that's chicken, beef, turkey, fish, real food, human food, not, slop from McDonald's, putting that with vegetables, putting that with, rice, potatoes, healthy whole foods, make a big batch of that, chunk it up into 5, 6 Tupperwares, and we're ready to go for our lunches. An hour or two on Sunday, we don't have to worry about our lunches for the week. And then dinner's going to change every night because it's often with the family. So I kind of leave it up.
But is there stuff you should stay away from, like with family dinners? And I mean, pizza. What if I want to have pizza for family dinner?
Yeah, I mean, once in a while won't kill you. But I mean, if it's 7 days a week, that's...
every Saturday is pizza night, Myles.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Same thing in my family, for sure.
Okay.
So yeah, that won't kill you once a week. But, having healthy human whole foods, some kind of protein, some kind of vegetables, some kind of healthy carbs, that's really going to sit you in a better position compared to takeout, because that's a big one too, where families, they don't really know what meals they want to have for the week. Maybe they didn't plan it out before, so they didn't have the ingredients at hand. So they go out, maybe the husband picks up something on the way back from work. Maybe they come home, don't really know what to make. It's order takeout. So this is, again, kind of like scheduling business. We're getting a little bit proactive. We're starting to think ahead. What do we want as meals for this week? What can we make for the family this week? And that's where, there's cookbooks I come out with for all my clients and all that kind of stuff to help with that process.
If someone hires you to help them, and by the way, you do this is all online, right? Yep. So it's not local. You're not flying to their house or city and helping them set this stuff up.
Not yet.
You help them create a nutritional plan that they can follow, help them create a workout plan that they can follow based on really what they have available. Like even if they're working out at home, I mean, You could give them, what do they call that when you just use your body weight to work out? What's that called?
Yeah, calisthenics, body weight.
Okay, I thought there was a special word for it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can help them with whatever they have available, whether they have a gym or they have a home weights, kettlebells, whatever. Like you take inventory of that, and then you help them create a workout plan, as well as a nutritional plan to be able to hit their goals, whatever that might be. What about people like me who really want accountability in person? And we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
So how does that, like, what do you suggest for people like me?
Well, I mean, if you want that accountability in person, maybe I'm not your champion, Brad. So definitely having that maybe personal PT might be the option for you.
One thing I want to clarify, when you say PT, my wife's a physical therapist.
Personal trainer.
So in my world, PT means physical therapist.
Yeah. No, definitely personal trainer for sure.
I just wanted some clarification there because it's all about references, right?
Yeah.
It's all about your point of view, perspective.
Yep.
So we're talking about personal training, not physical therapy. Let me phrase this question in a way that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I'm looking for help, okay? And there was only one thing that I could do. There's a meteor headed towards Earth.
Jesus.
It's going to crash into Earth. And whatever the one thing that you suggest that I do will save the Earth, what would that one thing be? If I could only do one thing in terms of health, exercise, nutrition, like what's the one thing that would save everyone?
That would save everyone.
Well, I mean, if like compared to not doing anything, if they could only do one thing, like make one change in their life, whether it's a certain type of exercising, certain types of food choices, like what would you say is the one thing is probably the most important that would have the greatest impact on their health?
Yeah. I'll tell you what my mentor told me years ago. He said, eat clean, train mean.
Say that again?
Eat clean and train mean.
Train mean?
Train mean.
Mean as in like angry, mean.
Yeah. With determination.
Okay. Right. I just want to make sure. So eat clean, train mean. Eat clean, train mean. I don't know if I can let you get away with that one, Myles.
What were you hoping?
Well, I was hoping you were saying something like if you could only do one thing, make sure you walk 10,000 steps a day, or if you could only do one thing, drink a gallon of water every day, or something like that, like some actionable step that you would do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to give you a cheap answer, of course, but there really is lots of layers to health. There's never just one thing that solves everyone's problems.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
This is more like if you're a lazy piece of crap and you need to start doing something just to get healthy, what would that one thing? Because like I've watched Joe Rogan on his podcast say, like, just move.
Yeah.
Like if all you can do is, if you're 400 pounds and you can't do anything, just start by lifting your arms while you're sitting in a chair.
Yep.
Like just move. So would that be kind of a similar?
Yeah.
Would you concur with that?
I would completely agree with that. And taking it another layer, going into a little bit more context, it really is about mindset before everything.
Okay.
Mindset, you have to initially believe that you can change. Because if we don't have that belief in place, nothing else matters. Right? We have to have that belief with conviction.
How does someone become convicted about fixing their health?
Well, I guess it kind of goes back to what Joe Rogan said, is first getting that movement in, no matter how small. And in the beginning, you might not believe you can change because that's been your whole perspective of life from the beginning, right? You don't know if your whole life, for example, if someone's been overweight their whole life, they don't know anything different.
Right.
Same thing with guys that might come into your coaching program. If they've had the same amount of income, the same amount of revenue year over year, they don't know that there's a higher potential that they can achieve. So would
you say that it's better to just move first and that will help develop the mindset, or do you need to develop the mindset before you move?
I'd say they both happen at the same time. Not at the same speed.
Okay.
Not at the same speed, but doing one helps the other. And getting that initial movement will help improve your mindset. We can read a million different books on mindset, but if we don't take action, it means nothing.
Right. Coincidentally, my last podcast that dropped this past Monday was on mindset. It was a mindset masterclass. So I was talking all about mindset. Mindset's super powerful. I think for some people, if you go to the doctor and the doctor's like, hey, if you don't lose 50 pounds, you're going to die of a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's motivation, right? Like that'll put you into the correct mindset. If you're like, oh crap, I don't want to die. But what about someone who just has like an extra 20 pounds and they want to feel better, they want to have more energy, but they're not in any kind of life-threatening condition,
Mm-hmm.
right? Is there anything that you would say to them to kind of help them get the right mindset, if that makes sense?
Yeah, that's a great question, Brad, and it kind of ties into an audiobook that I just finished on NLP. I don't know if you're familiar with NLP,
neuro-linguistic programming.
Yep. Basically, the words you tell yourself create your reality. That's what it is in a nutshell. And what people are often motivated or what motivates them is either towards a goal, a concrete goal that they can visualize, or the consequences of inaction, falling into old habits, or not living up to their potential, whatever that looks like for them. So it's really about finding what motivates them as an individual. So for me, I'm probably 50-50. I'm motivated by where I want to be, but I'm also motivated by not falling back into where I was, whether it's in business, fitness, and health. So it really involves that person having a deep conversation with themselves, because this isn't stuff we think about every day, right? We're so caught up in the motions. We don't think about visualizing a concrete goal, what that would look like for them personally. And we don't visualize what's going to happen if they don't take action today to make that a reality, the consequences of inaction. So there's those two.
That's powerful, because that's something we don't, with our health, it's not something like if we don't work out today, we're going to notice it tomorrow. Right. It's always, we don't take care of ourselves today, 5, 10, 20 years from now, it affects us.
Yep.
So I think that's actually super powerful. Like you have to, working at like exercising and weightlifting and nutrition is such a difficult part of our lives, because it's not you don't get immediate results, right? When you go to the gym, you're like, I want to work out, I'm going to get buff. You go to the gym, you hit the bench for a week straight, you don't see any results. Your arms hurt like hell, your chest hurts like hell. You see no results. You're like, why am I doing this? This is stupid.
Yep.
Right? So it's such an interesting. There's millions of fitness people all over the world, right?
Yeah.
There's probably more fitness people than just about any other industry.
Yeah.
Like it's fascinating to me, because there's such a need for it, yet there's so much failure within it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that to be true as well? Or, from you're in the industry, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Fitness really is crazy, because you're paying someone that you're not going to get a monetary ROI, not directly. You might have more energy to put into your business and you'll get more money that way. You're paying someone to get out of your comfort zone, to do something that might suck initially. And you're paying someone to change your habits, to ultimately become a different person, a better person than who you are today. Now, just because someone has, let's say, there's two people, they both have the same exact process. Person A can succeed, person B can fail. And it's not necessarily about the process, but the mindset around it, believing that they can become a different person. Because that's ultimately what fitness is. It's not just about the workouts. It's not just about a list of foods to eat. It's ultimately becoming someone that has let go of characteristics or attributes that have held them back for years, and adopting new ones to become a better person. Let go of limiting beliefs and adopt new and more powerful beliefs. That's really what fitness is. And it's not until we do movement, do hard things, do we actually get out of our comfort zone and be comfortable with getting uncomfortable to become that new person.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I talk about it with contractors all the time. When I come into the Profit Club that are learning new ways of running their business, I'm like, if you want to have the quickest learning and success, then you got to become super vulnerable. Like you have to be able to not be afraid to make a fool out of yourself, right? Not like going to the gym for the first time and not really knowing how to use the equipment. It can be intimidating, especially if it's like a place where a lot of power lifters go and there's dudes in there that are like, look like The Rock. You're like, and you're coming in there like for the first time trying to use, I mean, that could be intimidating. Like, I don't want to look like an idiot. Like, I don't want to look like I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's a vulnerability, right? Like, you have to be okay with going and maybe not doing an exercise correctly the first time or whatever it might be. Mm-hmm. Do you have any suggestions around that specific mindset of, I don't want to embarrass myself in front of other people? Because I know that's a big one for a lot of people going to the gym.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there's really two things that come to mind. Number one is, most people in the gym are focused on themselves. They don't really give a shit. The second one is, you will find the friendliest people in the gym that are there to help you out. So if someone really is struggling with a certain exercise, not sure how to do the form, just ask anybody. I'm sure they're more than happy to help you out and give you some cues, give you some tips, point you in the right direction on how to do it properly. So we really, again, those limiting beliefs, we really make them up in our mind, and, we create that reality, even though it may not be true.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Myles, if somebody's looking to start working out, they want to get maybe some nutrition, they just want somebody that can help them. What do you do? How can you help them? And how can they get a hold of you to get help?
Yeah, one of the best places, if not the best place, is add me on Facebook. You'll probably get an invite to my free Facebook group, Blue Collar CEOs, Lose Weight, Build Muscle, Boost Your Energy. That's where I come out with a bunch of free trainings every week, posts, free guides, all that kind of stuff to really help you out on your journey to be able to, lose the extra weight that you've been carrying around. Maybe you've got 20, 30, 50, 100 pounds to lose to get down to that healthy weight, so you can actually be able to show up for your business as a leader, earn the respect of your clients, your employees, and be able to show up to your family as a leader, having more energy for your kids, better relationship with your wife, your girlfriend, whoever you want. Because fitness really does have a rippling effect in everything that we do. Out of the three main topics, I guess, health, wealth, and relationships, health really is number one, and that has rippling effects into relationships and wealth.
Good stuff. And we'll put links to you down in the show notes. So if you guys want to find out more about Myles and his program, you can go to the show notes and sign up for his free Facebook group. He's got a lot. I'm in there, and he posts a lot of different things in there that are very helpful. It doesn't cost anything. It's just free information. So a couple more questions here, Myles. What you just told me, kind of answered earlier. What's a book that you that you're reading now, or one that you recommend?
Any book, any topic?
Yeah, anything.
One book I'm actually reading right now is the history of the English language, where it came from.
Interesting.
Where it came from, the origins, how it got transferred over to Britain, and then ultimately, the British Empire to everywhere in the world for the most part. And that's something that was really interesting to me, because the English language is very precise in its wording. And with that precision of the words we tell ourselves, we can ultimately create our reality. If we're imprecise, negative thoughts, negative words that we tell ourselves, that will become your reality. It's not until we change the thoughts, the dialogue, the story we tell ourselves, do we ultimately become a different person.
So what's the name of the book again?
Can't remember off the top of my head. I'll have to send it to you there, Brad. Okay.
No worries.
My apologies.
But it's like the history of the English language. It's not. You're not reading it. The book is not specifically about what you tell yourself. You're just. Is that what the book's about?
No, it's the historical origins.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're going after the origin because you want to learn the backstory behind it, so that you can transfer that over into your self-talk, basically.
Yeah. Tie it into the NLP kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. I love it. That's probably the most interesting recommendation I've ever had. The history of the English language.
Yeah.
I love it. The last question. What question should I be asking you?
That's such a broad question. Any specific thing in particular?
No, I mean, in regards to exercise and nutrition, like, what's the one question that I should be asking you that maybe I didn't?
Where do I sign up?
I love it. Where do I sign up? We'll put the links in the show notes where you can sign up for it. Perfect. Awesome. Well, Myles, thanks so much for being on the podcast and talking about nutrition and exercising. It's not, this is not necessarily specific about construction. However, this is an important part of ourselves, which ties into construction, especially if you own a construction business, if you're a blue collar CEO. And this is the people group that Myles specifically works with is contractors. That's why I wanted him to come on the show versus any other just regular Joe Blow fitness guy. Myles has been there. He's worked in the, in the trades and landscaping for several years. He understands the nuances of like working out in the field and trying to get workouts in and eating healthy and all that stuff. So I've known Myles for a while now, and definitely recommend him and his program if you're looking for something to be more structured and really have an impact in your health, which is going to transfer over into your business. So I appreciate you being on the podcast again, Myles.
Thank you, Brad. Appreciate your time.
Awesome. So guys, you know where to find me on all the other social media platforms. You just search for Hammer and Grind Podcast. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. Check out my free Facebook group, the Contractor Profit Blueprint. I give free information in there. I go live once a week as well to help you in your construction business. I appreciate you listening. Do me a favor, go and review us. Leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. And until next time, guys, you know what to do. Be the best version of you.